Hey everybody, what's up? I am back with another boxing prediction video. So, let's go first to Cardiff. There is a fight on Saturday between Kenichi Ogawa, who is the reigning IBF super featherweight champion, and Joe Cordina, the local boy. Yeah, so I don't know really much about this guy Ogawa, and he just won the IBF title in November when he beat Azinga Fuzil on points in New York. So that's good, it's positive because not many Japanese fighters like to fight abroad. And this guy obviously has no problem with it because he already fought in USA to win the title and now he's defending it in Wales, UK, against a very strong, I would say, but still rather fresh contender. Joe Cordina, he hasn't fought anyone really of note, but his last victory was rather good because he beat a guy that was previously unbeaten, Miko Kachaturian. That's right. And yeah, so he doesn't seem to be a really big puncher, but he's a very rather aggressive, offensive fighter, and who still has some power anyway. He's got some pop, as they say, and he can stop you down. He can stop anyone if he lands enough punches, of course, on them down the stretch. And yeah, while Ogawa, on the other hand, well, he's not a really a puncher either. He's also a guy who usually wins. He does have 18 knockouts in 26 wins, but it's like, mostly later round stoppages. And yeah, he's won his last two fights on points, and before that, he had one technical draw against Joe Noine. Uh, so yeah, he's still well, he isn't unbeaten actually. He lost one fight early on in his career in by TKO. But anyway, he looks like a very good content champion fighter. I mean, he's 34, and Cordina is actually 30, even though he's still rather, relatively new as a pro. So this is not, a young guy's fight, you might say. Uh, Ogawa Kenichi is like 5'8", and Corina is an inch taller, 5'9". Yes, well, this will be an interesting fight for sure. And yeah, I think there's a big possibility that Cordina will win this fight because he's fighting at home and so far he's looked very promising and but as I said, he hasn't had a true test yet, and yeah, I know. Well, Ogawa himself, he did fight Devin Farmer, but he was like he tested positive for some kind of drug. He originally won that fight by split decision, but then it got overturned to no contest because he had used some banned substance under standard you. So he hasn't really that's his biggest name on his record, and that wasn't even a true victory. So anyway, we know that he is a solid fighter. Yeah, this will be a very tough fight for both men, I think, because for Ogawa, because Cordina is tough guy, an aggressive fighter. And for Cordina, it will be tough because it's his first truly, world class fight. And yeah, so we will see how he will rise to occasion. It's hard to say really what will happen. I mean, I can see two scenarios. It's either that Cordina really impresses and that he wins on points. I don't think he can stop Ogawa. And another second scenario is that he doesn't really rise to the challenge and he gets outboxed and gets, simply loses the fight. And I don't think he can be stopped either, Cordina. Yeah, I don't think so. So, yeah, as I said, it's hard to say hard to predict this one. But anyway, I kind of think that Cordina will probably, he will be really eager to impress and put on a really good performance in front of his home crowd. And so far, what he has shown has been impressive, even though against limited opposition. But anyway, I think that he will win, but it will be a very close fight. He may win by a split decision or majority decision. All right, and then we have Stephen Fulton versus Daniel Roman. That's right. It's for Fulton's WBC and WBO Super Bantamweight titles. Yeah, Fulton, he won. He beat Brandon Figueroa to win the WBC. He already had WBO from before. He's a very, very good fighter, one of the best right now at Super Bantamweight. And Daniel Roman, well, he's rather, well, he was also a world champion actually for a while. He had the WBA title and then won the IBF also, but then he lost them to Murodjon Akhmadaliev by a split decision. So this fight will be also very good one, I believe. um, in his last two fights, he beat Juan Carlos Payano and Ricardo Espinoza Franco. So those are two solid wins for Roman. But he has been kind of, you might say, exposed because he has lost and so far Fulton hasn't, so that kind of speaks in Fulton's advantage, even though it sounds kind of, banal. But let's see. Fulton is 5'6.5", and Roman is 5'5". Fulton also has 2-inch reach advantage. Fulton isn't he's a technician. He doesn't usually win on knockout, but sometimes he does. He has scored a few knockouts. For instance, against the guy that was undefeated back then, Isaac Avelar. He knocked him out in 6 rounds. So anyway, of course I think Fulton will win here because he simply looks stronger right now and looks like the new true star at this 122 division. Yeah. And Roman already has 3 losses from before, and he had his time, had his time of greatness, let's say, put it that way, but he's obviously no longer the same guy, probably, and yeah, he's kind of been, uh, well, he hasn't been that active anyway lately, but he has had a few fights in the last couple of years. But Fulton has been maybe a little, at least last year he's been more active, while Roman had only one fight. Well, I think this will probably also go the distance, and I mean, yeah, I don't think Roman has been stopped before, and Fulton maybe can be able to score some kind of stoppage, but I think safer to go for a decision victory for Stephen Fulton or Daniel Roman. And then finally, yeah, the big fight, George Kambosos Jr. And Devin Haney. Yeah, yeah. Well, this is a really spectacular fight. It's only a pity the WBC the title is not online. I don't know why. That's so stupid. Fuck you. Boxing authorities. I don't know what happened actually, why it's not on the line, but it says so that isn't. It says WBC franchise. What does that mean? Well, I don't know. So it's not the real one, anyway. The regular title of WBC. Anyway, yeah, this fight, man, this fight. This fight is between two guys that I really like, now. Suddenly, Teofimo Lopez is not the man anymore, and hooray for that. And these guys are fighting for the number one spot. I mean, Kambosos is at number one spot because he beat Lopez, of course, and he is just a very tough guy. He's determined. That's what really made him beat both Kambosos and Selby. And yeah, he is a guy who has a heart of a warrior, of a champion. And Haney is just a guy who has the natural abilities and ability, whatever. His last fight against Joseph Diaz, he was pretty impressive, yeah. Jojo Diaz is no joke, of course. Before that, he beat Jorge Linares. Linares was a little bit, already on the slide. Not a little bit, but quite a lot. Even though he's always a good fighter anyway. But I mean, he also beat Gamboa, so he's been kind of preying on washed up has-beens. A little bit, you might say, also Haney. While Kambosos, Selby was also on the slide when he beat him, but still he was not completely finished anyway. That came in his next fight. So, yeah, I mean, both guys they're about equally tall, I believe. Maybe Kambosos he's slightly taller, an inch and a half, even though didn't look that when they were facing off against each other and mounting off the other day. But yeah, I mean, sometimes maybe Haney was wearing some kind of shoes that gave him a few couple inches extra. I don't know. But yeah, Kambosos is the taller man, but Haney, I guess, is a little bit harder hitter than Kambosos, even though Kambosos did drop Teofimo in that fight, and he does have pop, but he's not some kind of knockout artist, definitely. But neither is Haney, even though he did score a couple of impressive knockouts, like against Abdullayev and Antonio Moran. Yeah, but yeah, he hasn't scored a knockout in his last four fights. So Haney. Yeah, so both guys undefeated. Kambosos is 20-0 with 10 knockouts, and Haney is 27-0 with 15 knockouts. I just expect. I don't know, really. I expect a really close, tough fight, a real classic. I don't know if Haney will adopt a more cautious, like technical stance, like approach, or if he will, you know, be willing to, brawl and mix it up, or maybe a combination of both. I think probably. And Kambosos, we know he wins by, you know, mixing it up by swarming his opponent and not giving him much rest. So I think Haney will be forced, sooner or later to engage in a true war. But it's possible he can counter punch, effectively. It's possible, but I think it will not be. It's not likely that he will do it throughout the fight. He will also have to engage more sooner or later in order to win, to impress the judges. Also, you know how it goes. It's usually the more aggressive guy. Doesn't matter who really won. Like in a close fight, one guy wins 7 rounds, the other five, but the other guy was more aggressive. He did the most eye-catching, stuff, and the other guy was careful, cautious, and just counter punched and boxed technically. Who do you think the decision goes to? Or especially in those 6-5-1 fights, like one, when one fighter won a round more only than the other. That's what usually happens. The other guy who won one round less but was more aggressive, landed the better shots. He wins usually on points. That's how it goes. So that's why I think most likely Kambosos will win because unless he should get caught and dropped, and I don't think Haney can stop him, really. But if he wasn't able to stop an old Gamboa, then how can he stop a young warrior like Kambosos, And yeah, both guys are young, Kambosos 28, Haney only 23, so this is a very like young Lions fight. As I said, I don't think. And I don't think Kambosos can stop Haney either because unfortunately he doesn't hit hard enough. But he can give him a beating, definitely. So I think, yeah, here's my prediction. The Kambosos will win on points. He may also drop Haney, and maybe he gets dropped too, like against Lopez. Maybe I don't know. Haney does have a punch. He's not a knockout artist, as I said, but he does have a punch, certain punching power that Kambosos does not really possess. Maybe it's his technique, I guess. Just the way he fights, it's not puncher's style. So yeah, but still, I expect a really good fight, very competitive. So my prediction is George Kambosos Jr. to win on points. So that will be all for now. And thank you all for watching and following me. See you. Bye.